It's so beautifully perched up. Look at the beautiful sunset. Oh my God, the most beautiful time of the day. Hello everyone, my name is Suyash Keshri and welcome to Bandhavgarh National Park. Here we are in a virtual safari experience, the first of its kind in India and the only one in India right now. On first camera I have Himanshu, on second camera we have Nitin, and of course our guide is Lala. And right now we have just bumped into some Gaur. So I'm actually just going to reposition the vehicle because they've moved up. And let's hope we can get a good sight of them. So we're back in Magdi zone. For those of you who are joining for the first time, there they are. I'm just gonna position the vehicle. There's some young ones as well. Oh, sorry. There's some young ones as well. And it's basically a herd of female with their young ones, young calves. So, as I said, we're in Magdi zone. Bandhavgarh National Park has 3 tourism zones, Tala, Magdi and Khitoli, and it has 6 zones in total. Tala, Magdi, Khitoli being the tourism zones, and the other 3, Kalwa, Panpatha, Pathor, being the zones which you're not allowed to go as tourists. According to Supreme Court regulations, only 20% rather of the park is accessible to tourists and 80% is closed off. I'm just going to reposition the vehicle. Oh, maybe they're going to cross the road. That's a beautiful shot. Mother and her calf. Now, the Indian Gaur is often wrongly identified as the Indian bison, but they are not bisons. They are a separate species. They're called goers in scientific terminology, and their family is Bovidae. And subfamily, of course, Bovinae, and that's why they're called the largest extant bovines in the world and largest wild cattle in India. I'm going to reposition the vehicle, so just hold on. They move pretty fast, but we're going to approach them slowly. I'm just going to go a little closer and move again to the right. Actually, this is a great angle right here. Let me just reposition the vehicle. We can see this Gaur feeding. Oh, she moved off. Let me go up. Let me actually go up and make sure that we are on that turn so that we can film them from this angle. Oh, here we have one really close to us. look at the calf coming up. Look at the calf coming up in front of me. 2 of them. Beautiful. I reckon that the one in the front, or the one further away from us, is about 2 months old, or maybe 3 months old, and the one at the back is just about 3 to 4 months old. Here comes a sub-adult. I'm going to reposition. Look at them looking at us very curiously, especially the sub-adult. He just winked at me. Hey dude, how are you? Usually Gaurs, as I mentioned in one of the episodes earlier, are very calm for their size. Females can be between 650 and 800 kilograms, and some males can weigh up to 1,000 or even 1,200 kilograms, which is an enormous size. Okay, I'm gonna reposition again. Look at those in beautiful light. Males can be up to 1,200 kilograms, which is an enormous animal. And what's really funny is, and you can see right now, they appear to be wearing these incredibly white socks. Completely black body. Calves, of course, are brownish in color. And of course, even our adults have a little brownish tinge. Himanshu, if you want to scroll to this gaur who's eating, and see how dexterous her tongue is actually. They're eating and chomping on the juicy leaves of bamboo. Well, this time of the year they're not as juicy as they are in the monsoon season. I'm slowly going to move forward. Okay, that's a great view. And I'm going to not speak too loud because I don't want them to be disturbed. This one might cross the road. Or not. Okay, before we reposition, I quickly want to show you guys something. So I have my reference book here, which is the book on Indian mammals. And right now what we're observing is a herd of females and bachelor males. And of course the young ones. So here's the female with the young ones. But if you compare that with a male, the male has a massive ridge on the back. Sorry, there's a little bit of a shine on the page. So the male has a massive ridge on the back, but the female is missing that. Sorry, that's also a young male, but rather this is the female. Is also distinguished from the male and female is the female does not have curved and hooked horns, whereas the males do. If you look here, up here, sorry, a lot of shine. If you look here, the female does not have hooked horns, but here in the male, they have hooked horns. They also have a big dewlap. Dewlap is basically the loose skin under their throat. And while I reposition, I'm going to quickly tell you guys an interesting story about conservation. A couple decades ago, Bandhavgarh used to have a large population of gaurs. But over the years, I think there's a male deep in there. Yeah, there's a male. Look at that one. Himanshu, can you see that? Just compare the size of that to the other guys. Yeah, right there, zoom in. And to the right. He's walking a little to the right. can't really see him, but definitely much more bigger than the females. Maybe I'm gonna move up a little, keep the angle, I'm gonna move up a little, and maybe from that gap we'll be able to see him. How about that? You can see him a little once he moves. But the story I was going to tell you is that a couple of decades ago that... sorry guys, I just need to change the angle again. They keep moving. Let's just go on to this female. A couple decades ago, Bandhavgarh used to have a lot more goers, like hundreds and hundreds of gaur. And these goers used to go from Bandhavgarh all the way to Achanakmar Amarkantak area, which is just about 250 kilometers from there, and they used to have a yearly migration. But over time, due to habitat destruction, cities came up in the middle and the corridor got destroyed. And a small little disease wiped the entire gaur population out in Bandhavgarh because the new gaurs weren't able to come back, and this small subpopulation suffered a huge and sad fate. Look at all these calves bundling up here, 1, 2, 3, and just looking at us. This is so cute. So the gaur population suffered a lot. But in 2012, about 45 to 50 gaurs were relocated from Kanha National Park, which is another beautiful national park here in Madhya Pradesh, just about 6 hours drive from Bandhavgarh. And now that number 50 is close to 300. So that just goes on to show that if you give time and opportunity for wildlife to come back, they will easily bounce back. All they need sometimes is a hand. And what these gaurs right now are doing is they're chomping and browsing on the new sal leaves. Especially this female over here, if you see her, look at how amazing it is that the way she uses her tongue to grab the leaves. She might move off, and which she is now, and she's going to look for another tree. So I'm just going to wait and see where she goes, and then I'm going to just position the vehicle accordingly. So gaurs are both browsers and grazers. What that basically means is browsing is an animal that browses rather is an animal that mostly survives on leaves. An animal that grazes is mostly an animal that survives on grass. But gaurs are one of those species that do both. They eat the grass as well, and they also eat the leaves as they are right now. Cheetal deer are primarily grazers, but in central India and across India actually, they tend to stand up on their hind legs and reach for the closest leaves. They also eat the leaves that are dispersed by a langur for the deer. Alright guys, we're gonna move off. We're gonna let the gaurs browse away their afternoon. And as I said, we're back in Magdi. Earlier on, I promised you guys that we will see late Solo's territory. And then when we reached the intersection, we decided to go off into Dottie's territory. But today, I am gonna take you guys there. So it's going to be quite an interesting experience for me, because every time I'm there, I recall so many stories and it kind of gets me emotional. But we're slowly and surely headed that way. Welcome again to this experience, and I hope you're enjoying wherever you're watching from. You know, it's unlike any other experiences that you might see these days. This is not like a documentary that you might watch on any of the platforms that are available. Oh, female sambar deer. I'm just going to reposition. Look at that. I'm not going to point at her because she's going to run away otherwise. So I was saying is that this is unlike any other experience you might have seen before, because everything happening is happening live. It's raw, it's unscripted. There are no cuts and jumps. We just record whatever we find. And this female is really, really curious about us. I'm just gonna move back a little because of the grass blade. That's better. Is that better, Himanshu? Well, we still got some leaves, but oh well, what can you do? So Sambar usually stay in a herd, but I can't see other members of the herd. I'm sure they're around somewhere, we just can't see them. Alright, we're gonna let the curious Sambar be and then continue on. Very beautiful. Langur blocking our way. Hi guys. Are you not gonna let us go? Just langur right here. And I must turn left, but seems like these guys are not gonna let me go. Look at him scratching. He got an itch there. Sadly, I must go, otherwise we're gonna get late. But I'm gonna try and take it. Oof. I'm gonna try and take it from the left so as to not disturb them. Bye, buddy. Bye, guys. See you. They are so cute. Got cheetal deer here on the road as well. Beautiful lighting. Oh, little one right here. Right here, Himanshu. Wow, this is a newborn baby. Rather a calf, not a baby. I call every single little animal a baby. Oh, you're so cute. I reckon this guy must be just about, I would say 3 weeks old. Just looking at the size, the pattern of the hair, and his spots are pretty faded. And if you see, he's already learned to pick up the greenest of the leaves on the floor and not to eat the dry ones, which are not full of nutrition. All right, and there he goes. And that's our cue to continue. So we've actually entered Solo's territory, well, late Solo. For those of you who don't know who Solo is, she is a female whose mother was the first tigress I ever saw in Bandhavgarh over 10 years ago. Her mother was called Rajbera, and she was the first tigress I saw here in Bandhavgarh. Solo is Rajbera's daughter from the first litter. Sadly, both of them are dead. Rajbera died of old age, but Solo was found dead on October 17th in the buffer area, and the case is still going on as to what exactly caused her death. One of her cubs were also found dead, and rest have been missing. Solo is the female that I did my entire documentary series on, called Safari with Suyash. It's with WWF International, the season 1 of that series. And in fact, she is a female who I tracked every single day for months on end, and I knew exactly her patterns. If she is in one single territory, I would know, or one single area rather, I would know which waterhole would be her favorite, which place would she like to take her cubs, which place would she go to rest, the times of her movement, and it was all down to a T. So losing her was probably the greatest setback of my personal and professional career, because you set up this female and her cubs as the future of this troubled species. You educate millions of people about them, and you even help in conservation efforts here, only to showcase that this tigress, if we save her and her cubs, They are going to be the future of a place like Bandhavgarh. And if we can protect her and her cubs, we can protect all the 2,967 tigers in India. So it's about connecting people to one individual and then connecting them to the larger species as a whole. Because once they start connecting to that one individual, they're going to start caring about the species as a whole as well. I've shared this story earlier in one of the episodes, but I don't mind sharing it again. When I was starting to film my series, or right before I started filming my series, I decided that I'm going to film Spotty and her cubs. Cubs were vital because the thing is, in order to connect people, you need to show the animals being a little more human-like. So a cub interacting with their mother, a cub eating and just learning from her mother, and a mother trying to defend her cubs from other intruders, especially other males. All of that is very important because that evokes emotions in people's hearts and minds. So I was going to do Spotty and her cubs, but right before I started, her cubs were killed by an intruding male who was not the father of the cubs. Of course, not every male kills the cubs. It's only the male who's not the father of the cubs would kill the cubs. It sounds really bad, and it is bad, but in nature, it's brutal, right? Only the fittest must survive, and it's all about putting your genes forward. So Spotty lost her cubs. Spotty lost them, and then we thought we'll target her sister Dottie, but Dottie is very difficult to track and trace, and her area is very confusing. And then we decided, okay, Solo has cubs as well. They were just about 6 months old that time, so we're going to focus on Solo and her cubs. Her territory also looks beautiful, so that's what we're going to do. And yeah, that's where Solo's story came out to the audience world over. The female who I had known since she was just about 4 to 6 months old herself, and tracking her story over the years, and especially filming her cubs, her litter of cubs. It was awesome. This was her second litter of cubs actually. Solo had a first litter and they were killed by an intruding male, and this was actually her second litter. There were 4 cubs, 1 male and 3 females, and all of them were absolutely beautiful. So we're just approaching the cave and the site where most of the filming took place. Early in the morning, we found Solo dragging a sambar kill towards that cave, and then all day she rested right there. In fact, right there were the cubs and the mother. They stayed there for 2 days, eating on a sambar kill. And since we're here, we're just gonna play some of the footage recorded in season 1 of the series. So we're gonna share the entire lead up to finding Solo with a kill, and all the way till we found the cubs. Oh, what's there? Red spurfowl or grey spurfowl, one of them. for me is full of stories because I tracked Solo and her cubs for so long. And there was one time, it was in January, first week of January 2019, we spotted a male in the grasslands on the right. And when he came closer, I realized it was Bamera's son. Solo had mated with Mangu, a tiger named Mangu, male tiger, as well as Bamera's son. But the real father happened to be Mangu. And I realized that when it was Bamera's son, that he is gonna be a big menace to the cubs. So we followed Bamera's son all the way, and he was looking very agitated. He was sniffing all around and he was looking very agitated. So we started getting a little scared. And what ended up happening is he came from that side, he crossed the road, and Solo and her cubs were right on that hill. If you pan up and show them right on that hill. So at that time, Solo's cubs were just about 2 months old, and they were right on that hill. We could barely see them, and Solo was sitting on one of the rocks. At that time, since it was January, it was really dense and green, and Bamera's son, as soon as he saw Solo, rushed up towards her, and they got into a huge fight. Solo realized that if she does not fight him, if she does not protect her cubs, she's going to lose her second litter as well. So she fought, even though the male was twice her size nearly. But she fought, she's kicking and screaming, she drove the male away. In fact, we're going to show you guys some photographs. As you can see, she suffered a huge, deep wound, and it completely flapped open her chest. And yet, Solo kept fighting, and she drove him away, and then the cubs were able to survive. I think it was the toughest moment to experience, but we could have intervened, we could have saved the cubs, we could have saved Solo from that fight as well, but this is nature. We must let it take its course, and we can't stop it. But after Solo drove him away, next morning the forest department decided that if they don't protect her, she's gonna die. So what they did is they tranquilized her. They first baited her with a buffalo, then they tranquilized her, and they completely sewed up her wound. They stitched it up, and then she was perfect for a long time, of course, until October 2020, when the unfortunate incident happened. It still makes me sad because you think, what else could you have done, right? I mean, I didn't even want to come back to Bandhavgarh after that for quite some time. I was back in November, and I was just feeling really bad because it felt like a personal tragedy and even a mistake. Maybe I made a mistake, maybe someone else made a mistake, and I just was taking the blame completely on myself. Then I realized that just like Solo, there are more tigers we need to protect, and whatever mistakes happen with Solo, we must ensure as a community of Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve that doesn't repeat itself with other females or males. She definitely taught me a lot in my life, and we're going to continue on, and I'll show you the area which is known as Sehra. Pretty famous, but Solo definitely taught me a lot in my life. In fact, I've also made a documentary for Brute, The Fallen Queen of Bandhavgarh is the name. You could check it out on YouTube as well, and that traces the story of Solo. But what I learned from Solo is how to be a good daughter, how to be a good parent, how to be kind and caring to the young ones, how to be patient. I've seen her miss 10, 15 hunts before she achieved success on the 16th or 17th. I learned that you have to live in the moment. In June 2020, she was fighting a lot of males, she was fighting a lot of females, and there were in fact 9 males approaching and encroaching on her territory and 2 females. That's why Solo, once she started fighting them, I remember we found her in late June 2020, right after the lockdown in India lifted. I came here and I started filming her again. She had quite deep wounds and she was licking them. In fact, I'm just going to play that footage for you. So after that, when she started licking her wounds, and we didn't see her cubs in late June, and nobody did, I started getting very stressed about the cubs. I even informed the forest department of Bandhavgarh, and they sent out a search party. And they were found, but then over time, Solo decided that she can't keep fighting the males and females encroaching on her territory, and she just decided that it's better for her cubs and her to just move off and find a place somewhere else. And she ended up in a buffer area, which is like adjoining a really densely populated village. And from then, the story takes a very drastic turn. There are lots of reports out there, and I really hope for some closure, and I hope that the reports come out. I understand these things can take time, and I just hope that sooner or later we find what happened to her and her cubs. Every single tiger is important, and we must know how to conserve them better. 10 years down the line, or even 50 years down the line, God knows, we don't want to be in a position where we say that we knew how to protect tigers. We knew we needed to connect more spaces. We knew we needed to give them more space and give them more protection. We knew how to conserve them, but we let them go. Alarm codes. There and there. Okay, here we are in Sarah. आगे देखे? Here we are at Sarah grasslands. This is a beautiful location, and you can get a beautiful view of Bandhavgarh plateau from the other side. When we went Tala zone, you could see the other side of the plateau, and now here we are on the other side. Once again, this raises up into the sky from sea level all the way till 811 meters in height. The area on the top has a fort, it has a temple, it has a lot of structures, and it also has 13 lakes. Sorry, that's 12 lakes, not 13 lakes, my bad. I always get confused if it's 11, 12 or 13. My bad. I actually haven't seen the lakes. If I had seen all of them, I would remember. And the area on top is upwards of 500 acres, so you can really see how big it is. And it comes in the territory of Chakradhara female. So Bandhavgarh, the name comes from two words, Bandho meaning brother, Garh meaning fort, because it is believed there's some deer as well, here and here. Maybe we can show the audience some deer until the time I'm telling them this story. There's a young deer actually, very young. So the brother fort, it's believed in Hindu religion that Ram came here during his Vanvyas and he got his sevaks or the langur sevaks to make a temple up there and as well as a fort. And then he decided to gift that to his brother Lakshman. So Lord Ram gifted it to Lord Lakshman, and that's why it's known as Bandhavgarh. And for the longest time it was the place for the kings and queens and the Maharaja of Rewa, and he used Bandhavgarh as his hunting ground. But in 1968, Bandhavgarh was declared as a protected national park, and as a result, hunting was outlawed, and slowly but surely wildlife started coming back and they started booming again, and now it is one of the most protected and most densely populated tiger reserves in the world. Alright, let's keep going. I just wanted to show you guys that. There were some alarm calls coming from that way, so I'm just going to check there what it is. So Sehra connects all the way to Rajbehra, which is in Tala zone, and is the birthplace of Rajbehra female, birthplace of Solo as well, Solo and her sisters. So in Solo's litter, there were three females and one male. It was Solo, then Kankati Jr., another female who passed away recently, 3 or 4 years ago. Then there was a third female who lives in the buffer and is known as the Dhamokar female. And the fourth one, male, has went missing, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that he might be dead, but he just went missing. That could mean that he's even in the non-tourism zones, and I haven't seen him ever since. The last time I saw him was 2016, when he made a kill of a cheetal fawn, and the cheetal fawn was still alive. So before we show the photograph, if you are someone who cannot see death, then please look away, because for the next 5 seconds I'm going to show a disturbing scene. So for sensitive viewers, please look away, and you're going to see this male with a cheetal deer fawn, live cheetal deer fawn kill. As bad and as gory it might look, this is how it is. In order to survive, they must kill and they must hunt. We're just at the end of Solo's territory, and before we leave her territory, I'm just going to stop and quickly show you. Look at this grassland. This grassland goes all the way till Sehra, and this is the Dadra grassland. And in front of me, right here, on the left, is a lot of bamboo. And right here, in the winters, this bamboo is really thick. And I'm going to share a story which is again very close to my heart. It was January 2020, and it was my birthday, January 24th. And I was turning 24 years old. We were on a full day safari. It was me, Rajesh and Gudda. Rajesh and Gudda are part of my series, season 1. Gudda was driving, Rajesh was the guide, and we were waiting right here. What had happened a couple weeks ago is one of Solo's cubs had gotten into a fight with either a male or a female, and she had a huge gash on her right shoulder, actually, not left, on her right shoulder. And this gash was really deep. So when this gash was really deep, suddenly people started getting concerned. Who did this? How did it happen? And then the cub went missing. It was late December 2019 when the cub went missing. I got here on the second week of January, and immediately I wanted to check out Solo and her cubs. I didn't find them for nearly a week, and some other vehicles saw Solo. They saw one or two of the cubs, but not the entire family together, and that got us really, really concerned. What is going on? And then suddenly, Solo and her cubs all disappeared. The sightings went down, and that's when everyone started getting concerned. What the hell is going on, right? This is a breeding female in her prime. These cubs are nearly approaching adulthood. So it's not only about losing one tiger, it's losing 5 tigers. So the forest department came together and they went out as a search party. They found the female and they found one cub, but they couldn't find the others. On January 24th, when we entered the park, we stopped at a few places and then we got to Sarah. And Gudda noticed that there's a drag mark. Something like it might have looked like an anaconda that had walked, or rather snaked its way through the road. But what it essentially was a drag mark of a kill made by Solo, because it was her territory. So we waited there for about an hour and a half, and finally we saw Solo really far in the distance. And wow, that was a birthday gift in itself, because I was like, well, she's gonna call for her cubs. So we informed the forest department. The entire forest department came, lots of people on foot. They brought in vehicles as well, and they basically spread out an entire Solo's territory because they needed to find the cubs. They were able to locate 2 cubs, and then they finally found the 3rd cub, but the 4th one was still missing. They let us know, so we decided to wait. And suddenly the alarm call started coming from near Dardara grassland that I showed you. So we went and waited there. 1 hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Gudda slept off because we were up really early. Rajesh slept off, and I was sitting at the back and just looking out in the distance. There was this bamboo cluster and light was falling off, and I was just looking, and I was looking like this. Suddenly something comes off, and I'm like, tiger. And then Gudda just jerks up, and he's like, where? So he missed the 1st cub, then the 2nd cub comes out, and then he's like, tiger. And then the 3rd cub comes out, and then Rajesh, the guide, wakes up, and he's like, tiger. And then the moment came when the 4th cub unbelievably came out. And I was shell-shocked. I was insanely shell-shocked. Where had the cub been? And it was the best birthday gift I could ever imagine. Of course, they crossed the grassland, rejoined with their mother. We didn't get a clear shot of the family together, but we knew exactly where the mom was, and we saw the mother coming out, the cubs going in where the kill was. They ate the kill, they fought amongst each other, and it was absolutely stunning. I cherish those moments even until this day, and I really miss those moments. But here we are, and we're gonna keep going. But it has to be the best birthday gift ever. Turning 24 on the 24th, getting the female that I've known for so long, along with her cubs, knowing that the 4th cub is safe, and letting the entire forest department know that the cub is safe, and just rejoicing in that fact. Still kind of brings tears to my eyes thinking of what happened to her. we must remember that there are more tigers to protect, and the work has just begun. The work is not over. It doesn't end with one tiger. We have so many more to protect. We have the future of this reserve, of other reserves, of every single tiger and every single animal that shares the habitat with the tigers to protect. There's a beautiful sambar deer sitting right there. Got a nice angle. Eye level, and it's just sitting and observing. She looks quite curious. Again, this one is, where is your herd? You see, there's so many animals here, and we must make an effort to protect each and every single one. Of course, tigers form the umbrella species. If you protect the tiger, you protect the habitat. If you protect the habitat, you protect every single species in it, from the frog to the honeybee. Alright, we're going to let the sambar be. And we're going to continue over, and we're going to continue driving, and we're actually going to drive towards the territory of this female called Dabadol female. In case this is the first time you're watching, Dabadol female is the daughter of a tigress known as Suki Patiha. I've known Dabadol female since she was 6 months old. Now Dabadol is about 7.5 years old. Her mother is no more, but Dabadol's territory is lined by the Doti female's territory, whose mother also was Suki Patiha, but Doti is from the first litter and Dabadol is from the second litter, so they're cousin sisters. So we're just entering Dabadol's territory, and a vehicle that passed through told us there's some calls going on just right behind Sukhi Talab. This is a water hole. So we're just going to quickly check that. डियर है यार यहाँ तो वहाँ तक चेक करूँ कि नहीं there's some deer. This is the Sukhi Talab, real quick, and they're actually constructing something right here. They're constructing a solar panel so that they can keep filling the water hole up. There's some deer coming to drink water as well. So why it's called Sukhi Talab is because Sukha and Sukhi basically means dry. So unless water is fed in through an artificial water source or artificially dug up from the ground through a bore well, this will not get full. And it's essential to have water holes like this strategically placed for animals. There are more cheetal over here. So more cheetal over here and here as well. We're just going to check until this drainage line to see if any pug marks or anything is visible. Alright, nothing here. No pug marks, no alarm calls. We're just gonna go back and then continue our way to Dabadol. Okay, Panji. There's some old pug marks over there if you show. Right there. Really old pug marks. Yep. Zoom in more. More left, bottom. More left, down. Yeah, right there. Yep, that's a very old pug mark. Let's go. इधर आने के है ना? यहाँ पर होगी कहीं. This specific path and this spray mark that these are very fresh. Jump on the hind legs, come scratching down. Egyptian vulture. Rejoin and fix the fencing here. It's huge! So here's another educational segment that we've recorded just for you guys. Let's get closer to some signs and tracks. Let's get closer to nature. Let's come off the vehicle and learn something more. So as you can see, I'm kind of in a riverbed and tigers prefer the path of least resistance. What is the path of least resistance? As it says, tigers prefer pagdandis. Pagdandis are kind of game trails. Tigers prefer kind of dry riverbeds, paths, roads. Those are the paths that tigers walk on. When they're walking, they are marking their territory as well. So there are a few ways that tigers mark their territory. One is when they're walking, they're spraying on different trees. They're spraying their urine, and that helps in other tigers knowing who this tiger is, what the age of the tiger is it a male or a female, what health condition this tiger might be in. All those messages are decoded. How they're decoded? When the tiger comes, it kind of sniffs the tree, and then it does this snarling kind of a response, which is actually called a phlegm response. We're just going to show you that on the screen. What is happening is when the tiger is sniffing really hard, the air is flowing in and hitting its Jacobson's organ, and thereby the decoding of the message happens. Another way tigers mark their territory is they would come, they would kind of stay and spray, and then they would leave their feces, and they do this kind of a thing where they scrape the ground and leave signs as well. Third way tigers mark their territory is right here. This is a tree with enormous scratch marks. If you come closer, look how deep the claws have gone in. And this is frequented by maybe a few different tigers because there are all kinds of signs. And of course, the tiger uses this path a lot. If you see here, there's also a pug mark. Very old pug mark, and then there's a hoof mark of cheetal deer. I would like to remind everyone, in the national park, you're not allowed to get off, but we are here at a private property. This is a wildlife resort. It's over 150 acres, and they have done a phenomenal job at conserving the wilderness because the park boundary is hardly about half a kilometer from here. So because they've done such a good job at conservation, at private conservation, both tigers, sloth bears, leopards, and even cheetal deer feel perfectly safe coming here and using this as a buffer to pass on to other territories of Bandhavgarh. And that's how it must be. So let's study this a little more. Why does a tiger come and scratch the tree? Of course, I told you it's for marking its territory. Ooh. Ants, sorry. It's for marking the territory. Another reason it does that is to kind of strengthen its claws, kind of sharpen its claws as well. But as it is in males in our human species, males always try to overcompensate. They want to impress the females all the time, and with tigers it's no different. You know, when humans, we are at the bar, especially teenagers or boisterous guys my age, like in their 20s. They want to win over females, so they try showing off their muscles, showing the car they drive, the money they earn, all sorts of things. And with tigers, it's scratch marking. What happens is the tiger, depending on its size, it can climb up to 8 or 9 feet if it goes from its back legs. So usually what tigers do is they would come here, they would sniff the tree, they would look up, and that's your cue that the tiger wants to either scratch mark or spray mark the tree. And then they jump on the hind legs and then they come scratching down. But if you go further, you see that I'm about 5'10", 5'11", but this scratch mark is all the way over there. So I would say that these are about 8 or 9 feet, but the ones over there are nearly 10 or 12 feet. And clearly the male tiger in this area needs to overcompensate for his size, because there is no reason for the scratch mark to be right over there. I don't even know if I can touch it. Let's try. Sorry, I'm going to remove mine. Nearly. But that is really cool. And then the tiger has kind of gone here, and then on this tree, which is an urgent tree, he has come back and scratch marked right here. I think on that tree both male and female have scratch marked, because usually males are the ones that would climb that high, females would not. Here it could be both, maybe there are a couple males there. And then let's see, so the scratch marks are here as well. Watch the bamboo. Oops. Yep, on this side as well. And then I also see some scratch marks on that tree, so let's take a spin over there. So my cameraman is following the human path, but I'm following the tiger's path. And I come here and I decide to come scratching down here as well. How cool is that? Those are the signs and activities that you look for, that you try understanding, try explaining to yourself and to others, and try decoding different messages. Another cool thing I want to show you guys is this is actually an urgent tree. We've talked about this in the series, this whitish bark appearance. Urgent tree, the best part about it is it has a lot of medicinal values. It is used to treat heart disease, and it only grows next to water sources. So this is a private water source. The lodge here has made a private water hole. As you can see, there's some construction at the background as well. They've made a water hole. And urgent trees grow next to water, kind of in a slope. So there's, of course, a dry riverbed over there and a water hole right here. Beautiful. And yeah, so the tiger probably comes like that and then follows this path and then kind of goes back down, because again, when we're seeing, we have to find the path of least resistance for the tigers. So either the tiger will walk this way, but then there's water over there, it can't jump on that side. Then probably go this way. And then off it goes. I hope you're enjoying these kind of small segments in between the safaris. Let's go back and see what else we can find. Okay, we just wanted to check this gap, because this is usually where tigers like to sit. Can I have my binoculars here? Here you go, Lala. Maybe he can find something. Growling. Oh, right there. Growling. Do you hear the growling? The tiger's right nearby. He's growling at us. Lala, can I see the binoculars again? What I'm trying to do essentially is try seeing if I can see something. But the tiger definitely growled about, I think 4 times, if not 3. But he's sitting and growling. Hmm? Mm-hmm. We've been waiting here for quite some time now. It's nearly 45 minutes. And the sun is right on my face, so I've used my buff as a cover. But after the 2-3 growls, nothing happened. Or rather 3 growls or 4 growls, nothing happened. So we're just gonna wait. All the vehicles have still crowded around that female. But once they start moving away, we'll go back. She's just literally 5 minutes from here. But from the growl, this looked like a male, probably Mahaman male. Vitamin D. Hindi. In case you don't know, I can see everything that's going on right here on my screen. How cool is that? So I can see if I'm in focus, I can see if Himanshu is messing up the shots, and I can see everything. I wish I could see you guys as well. That would be pretty cool. Maybe in future the technology would allow a really interactive safari virtually. So right there on the patch or the forest right here is where the tiger is supposed to be. That's where the alarm, not the alarm rather, that's where the growling came from. Patience is key. Yes, another growl. Right there. He's quite far in. He's actually beyond that area. Right beyond it. Oh, he's coming. Nitin, 200, 600, get ready. Just focus there. Don't. Yeah, right there. He's coming towards us. कैसे? He is so close to us. He's so close, right behind those grass and these trees. Like, he is very close. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. We're gonna be patient and we're gonna get him. Fingers crossed. Yes. The tiger's coming from here and then the other tiger's here. Himanshu, can you see this spot underneath from here as well? Wow. My God. What tiger? Right there. Right there, right there. Nitin, did you get it? So tiger just crossed, but we missed it because he's so fast. राधा आगे चलते हैं वो We're just gonna quickly check in the front if he's come out. Yeah, people seeing it. बताना लगा. Oh, sorry. फिर चला गया क्या अंदर? मोड़ लूँ? हाँ? मोड़ लूँ? फिर वापस लगाए वहाँ? हाँ? नहीं लाला हाँ Times like these are so confusing. The tiger comes like this, then he goes back, then he comes back. It's stressful sometimes, but I wish the focus was on that area where the tiger came out from and not on me. But then again, we didn't know if the tiger was going to come out there, or close to us. It's all a part of the parcel. Uh-huh. Huh. Okay, the tigers are walking. The tigers are walking. Wait, I can hear them. Oh, I see the tail right there. I see the tail flick like this. Oh, there. Do you see it, Manju? They're gonna come out in the open right here. No. Himanshu, the tiger's gonna come out here. Get ready, get ready. Watch, watch, watch. The tiger's coming. He's growling. Wow, beautiful. Look at that, guys. He's coming out in the open. This is a big male tiger. I think this is the Muhammad male. My God. Oh, look, wow, beautiful. Look how the second one, there's a cub. There, there's a cub as well. Down him on, shoot. Oh, look at them, wide angle. Two tigers, guys, two tigers. I'm just gonna turn the position. Wow. यहाँ पे और वहाँ पीछे कर लूँ. Okay, if the tigers come out, they're gonna come out in that area. Himanshu, did you get me in the tigers? Yeah. Really? Nice. Oh, there. Where? Yeah, there's the tiger. There. Oh, right there. All the way in the right corner.
He's walking.
Yeah, I see it. All the way in the right corner there. He's really far away. Lala. So I think the one that you see right now is the sub-adult or the young male. But I don't know where the other tiger went. Okay, he sat down. Okay, the other tiger also came. Wow, beautiful. Oh, both of them are walking now. Wow. It is fantastic. How can you see two tigers together walking side by side, father and son? This is incredible. They're literally father and son. That kind of a relationship has hardly ever been captured on film, and here we have both of them together. Okay, guys, I'm actually going to reposition and then I'm going to tell you an interesting story and misconception. Where?
पेड़
Lala, batana.
मेल
Lala, where? Lala.
Krishna, hold on.
It's always important. You see, I keep asking Lala where to go because I have to focus on the road. I can't focus on the tigers and the road and presenting. So we work as a team. Himanshu and Nitin film and Lala directs me as well. Both Lala and I track together, but once the tiger is seen or once any subject is seen, he directs me. And that's how it must be. Beautiful, the lighting is so good. Huh? Himanshu, you got me in the tiger, really? Dude, I love you. Yeah, so as I was saying, there's a common misconception that males do not help in rearing the cubs, but Bandhavgarh is one of those locations where you can actually observe males helping the females in raising the cubs and even teaching them, teaching the cubs what to do, especially the male cubs, you know, they become their mentors. So this male, which is the Mahanman male, and this other male, the smaller one, is Davadol's son. And the father is actually teaching his son or going with his son and being his mentor. They were somewhere over there. Okay, there the tigers are again. Lala, Matana. हाँ? और पीछे? तो आगे चलो.
अभी वो आ रहा है.
Where? There's so many vehicles now. They've left the Davadol female and they've all come here. Me, right? We're just waiting for the tigers to come back out. As soon as I see them, I'll tell you where they are.
Should I kept it rolling?
Huh?
Should I kept rolling?
Yeah. Okay, what's very interesting is there's actually a deer sitting over there. Do you see it? No? Okay. Himanshu, just follow my hand, okay? I'll tell you. So follow my hand. Follow my hand. Follow it right here. Okay? Zoom in right here. Focus, focus, focus. Focus. Yeah, right there. There's a deer sitting on the floor. Right there. Yeah, right there. He's sitting in the grass. We've got two tigers just about 100 meters there. But there's also a deer fawn, probably a sambar deer fawn, right over there. He's just hiding in the grass. So now if I had to shed light on that behavior, what was essentially happening is, I said, right, there are two tigers calling, one from that side, one from this side. So the son, which was on the other side, was actually calling for the father, and the father was responding, oh, I'm right here, oh, I'm right here. The son is like, oh, I'm coming to you, I'm coming to you. That's the interaction. Of course, it's not like the son will come and they'll meet with each other, but that's how it is going to be. Okay, I think our other camera can see it because thanks to Lala's amazing eyes, he was able to point out where the tiger is. So you guys must be seeing it on the other camera. I'm also trying to see it from my binoculars, but I can't. Alright guys, unfortunately it's getting to the time that we have to leave the national park. We only are allowed to drive at 20 kilometers an hour, so we have to cover a long distance, so we're going to go slowly. We could have waited here for longer, but unfortunately that's not possible. So I guess we've had the sighting of the day today, but let's see what we find in the way back. If we don't find something, I hope you enjoyed that tiger sighting. It was brilliant and fabulous. Alright, so let's head out. Sad, but we must leave these tigers. I'm just gonna pack my binoculars in and go through. Everyone comfortable back there? I'm just gonna take a turn from up there. Sorry, I just have to adjust my screen. Well, what a day it has been, huh? When we got there, we heard some growls, we heard some alarm calls, so we waited there. We were patient, waited there for nearly an hour and a half. And finally the growls came closer, and then they suddenly disappeared. Then we missed the tiger on the camera. I saw it, everyone saw it, but we missed it because it crossed so fast and we hardly had any angle. And then finally, we repositioned into an opening because I predicted the movement going this way, and Lala also said, okay sir, let's go that way, and we're just gonna wait there. And when the tigers came, not one but two, we got them alone. And that's the beauty of it. You gotta leave the rush sometimes and try finding something else. And then the tigers started growling again, and they were so loud that people everywhere could hear it, so they came rushing to us. And then of course it was getting really crowded again, but we got an amazing sighting, an amazing interaction. It's one of the rarest interactions ever captured on film, I would say, because the big male Mahaman and his son walking side by side, you could see the size difference. And Mahaman is his father, his mentor, his teacher, and maybe his friend too. I'm really happy. Congratulations, guys. That was fabulous. Lala, you were right. We need to concentrate on tigers that we can see properly away from the crowd. And you were also right about positioning of the vehicle. So I think together we make a great team. So congratulations to you as well. Woo! What a day. What a day. But as I always say, it's not over yet. We have about 45 minutes until we can reach the gate. Actually 55 minutes, not 45 minutes, so nearly an hour till we reach the gate. And we're gonna go slow and steady. If we see something, we're gonna stop. If not, just enjoy the drive. Once again, you're watching a virtual safari experience, one of a kind in India, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this safari so far. Beautiful sambar deer sitting right there. Quite a nice angle. There, do you see it, Anju? sunrise and sunset. Whew. What a day it has been. Oh my god. Oh shit. My vehicle stopped. Sorry guys, sorry about that. I think I got carried away by the sunset, which is okay. I'll put my buff on. Really dusty. Wow, those rays of the sun. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. What a marvelous sunset here in central India's Bandhavgarh National Park. And what a marvelous day to be alive. Find to the wild boar. Just got a wild boar over there. Bye bye, Mr. Boar. Another view of the sunset coming up now. Pan a little bit. Once again, it's one of those times of the day where you look back, cherish, think about everything that's happened during the day, what you learned, what you observed, how you could have been better, maybe much more kinder to someone. Maybe someone was not kind to you, and think about it and let it go. This time of reflection is very important because we have to go to bed thinking that we did our best, we learned a lot, and tomorrow a new chapter begins, and every day is a new chapter. You get to write the story, you get to see if other people in your life are going to come or go. When they come, welcome them as friends. If they want to go, say goodbye as friends. No matter what they do, if they hurt you, know that the person might be hurting inside too. Know that if they hurt you and if you really feel bad, it's totally okay to feel bad about it. But think about it and over time let it go. And the reason I'm talking about all of this is because when I'm out here doing safaris, my mind is really at ease. I'm the kind of person who tends to overthink sometimes, but when I'm here, My mind is really at ease, and it really gets me thinking. It gets the fluid going, and makes me realize how small and insignificant of a person you really are in the bigger scheme of things. And just like that, one day of your entire life is pretty small, or even 1 week or 1 month is pretty small. So if you're going through a tough time, just remember, this shall pass. As they say, this too shall pass. And let this virtual safari experience transport you away from all your stress in life, all your day-to-day things, and the hustle and bustle of the city or the town that you live in, and transport yourself to a pristine wildlife habitat where everything is as it is. There's no deception, nothing that lies here. It just is as it is. It is brutal sometimes, it's beautiful mostly, but again, it's all real, it's raw. Look at the sun filtering through the bamboo. It looks gorgeous. Okay. Guys, this is a little rocky, so please hold on. So we're just about to exit the park, and it's time for me to say goodbye. And thank you very much once again for joining on this virtual safari experience. I've had the pleasure of hosting you, hosting the people from all across the world and all across India. Thank you so much that you gave me the opportunity to do that. Once again, we are in Bandhavgarh National Park in the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh, and my name is Suyash Keshri. I'm a wildlife presenter and filmmaker, and I'm your host on this safari tour. Behind camera 1, we have Himanshu Yadav, and behind camera number 2 is Nitin Krishna. They've done a fabulous job today as well. And of course, our guide is none other than Lala. Sorry, I would stop and say goodbye to you guys, but we are running low on time, so I have to move slowly and swiftly towards the gate, which is just right around the bend. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach us on safarivithsuyash@gmail.com. If you want to join me on a tour, you can see that details on my Instagram page at Suyash Keshri. We're going to put a link on these videos for you. And if you would like to travel with me to any of the national parks, then please look it up on suyashkeshi.com. Once again, it's been a pleasure. Please don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, drop in a comment. All of that helps us a lot. And I will see you guys next time. But until then, goodbye and take care.